Hello and welcome to week 2 of my digital creative offerings. This week I am with Prince, who is sat on my knee right here, and the theme is expression, okay? Expression. And I think this is a really important week because it goes without saying that in the current climate everybody's feeling something, if not a complete array of emotions that are swinging all over the place, and you're on the emotional roller coaster and you don't know when you're going to get off. Like, that is the reality of the situation at the minute, and it creates that feeling for you where if you don't express those feelings, it can sort of like bubble up inside of you and just sit somewhere and just make you feel a bit irritable and uncomfortable and agitated. So I'm hoping what this week will do is offer you some tools to explore just letting some of those feelings out, or any feelings out, or just exploring how you feel more generally. Every week you are your own boss, but this week it's more important than ever that you are mindful about what you want to explore in terms of how you feel. I'd highly recommend that you don't start rooting through that Pandora's box, pulling things out that you then can't pack away again if you've not got your usual support system around you, or the usual support services that might support your mental health, for example. So it's up to you what sort of level you want to delve into this week at, and I'll leave that to you because it's totally a personal choice. But I've got a few offerings, and though some are about exploring feelings and using those to be creative, others are quite fun, so don't be put off by this little intro. I'm just trying to be mindful of that for people, but there are a variety of offers, one of which is a comedy one. So let's get going. Something that's really helped me over the past couple of weeks is free writing. Free writing is essentially where you put pen to paper and you just write. Usually recommend that you do around 2 to 3 sides of A4 and that the pen does not leave the page. So you're just writing how you feel or what comes into your mind. If you can't think of anything, you keep going, I don't know what to write, I don't know what to write, I don't know how I'm feeling, I don't know what to say. Oh look, there's a butterfly, yeah? Okay, whatever it is, you try to keep pen on paper. It's like a stream of consciousness. People recommend doing these in the morning. Sometimes I recommend doing them before you go to bed, middle of the day. I don't know, you've got to find out what works best for you. But what I love about free writing is it's an opportunity to just get that fluff and that gunk out of your brain before you do start being creative. So not only is it great at just letting things out onto paper, but if you were then going to do a creative task, and I do it in workshops, sometimes it is like, let's just get the fluff of the day out. Let's get the base level stuff out of the head, and then we can tap into that creativity a bit clearer. So I love free writing, and I'd recommend you give it a go and see if it works for you. It might not. This is an offer. It might. I mean, you might do it once in a while when you feel you need it, but it's something to explore, a bit of free writing. Another offer is monologues. I absolutely love monologues just because you can create monologues, you can work with already existing monologues by yourself. And I'm somebody who's created a lot of theatre on my own as a solo performer and maker. And I've done that because sometimes I haven't had people to bounce off or work with. And actually, it's a really exciting thing to make work like that. And sometimes a monologue can just be a really beautiful start to something much bigger that you would develop it into. So that is an offer for this week, either to have a look at some already existing monologues. Perhaps you can look online, or if you've got some play texts at home, you can have a read them out loud, try them on, see how they feel. Or you can try writing your own, either as yourself, either as a character you're imagining in a scenario that you're imagining, perhaps one you've previously created so far, and just explore that one person performance, that one person dialogue. What does this person want to say? Why is it important? Who is that audience? What is this piece aimed at, or who's it for? So there's a lot to explore just in the idea of monologues, which I think is really cool. A step up from this into the comedy side of things is obviously to create a bit of stand-up comedy. Now, one of the simplest routes into stand-up comedy, I think, is the rant, the idea of the rant, okay? And what I would recommend is that if you're going to write a rant and you want it to be comedic, don't do it about something very genuine and serious that we will all be like, yeah, actually, that makes me really angry too. Yeah, sexism makes me really angry too. And then it's like, now I just feel annoyed. I don't feel like I've really had a laugh about it. So one of the easiest ways to twist that is to do a rant about something that other people would find ridiculous that you find annoying. So write about something that grinds your gears that other people would go, I can't believe that you find that annoying. That's ridiculous. That's what makes it funny. So, you know, you might want to do a rant about, I don't know, the wasps that are appearing throughout the day. You know, I'm finding them coming inside at all hours of the day. Sometimes the windows are closed. I don't know how they've got in. And yeah, that might be like a little something that I might want to try writing about and see how far I can push my anger towards something a little bit petty. A good example of this is Rod Gilbert's stand-up piece about Henry the Hoover. If you can YouTube that, do that, and you'll see what I mean, because my wasp example wasn't strong. But with that in mind, the whole point of comedy is you try something and it probably isn't going to be funny. 90% of what you make will be not funny, and then 10% will. But what is key to comedy is that you do it very authentically. So I write very passionately about my hatred of the wasps, and I hope that that will convey something humorous, because I'm doing it not from a place of trying to be funny. I'm doing it because I really, really hate them. So there's another option for you. The last one is in the Journeys workshops that you may or may not have been part of, we looked at creating some spoken word pieces. And again, back to this idea of free writing, there's a few prompts that you can work with. So I really want to focus on senses particularly. So I hear, I see, I feel, like physically feel or perhaps emotionally feel, I smell. And it's just a way of being quite grounded again. I hear the sound of the breeze against the window. I don't, but that was a bad example. I hear the seagulls screaming was something that came up a lot in Journeys. I hear the sound of the ocean waves. I hear my neighbour's children playing in the garden. I see a block of flats opposite me. So it's very, you know, it's good in one sense that it grounds you. You are just thinking about the present, but you can also expand that into it becoming a little bit more abstract. I see the block of flats opposite me, towering over as if guarding a secret. I don't know, I'm trying to fluff it up off the top of my head, but you see what I mean? You can take it that one step further. You can start to create a more vivid picture of something and a mood. And it just is a nice way of prompting you to write something a little bit different. And then if you write them in statements, you can sort of piece them together to something that you really like. So that's another option. So there's a few things to be getting on there with. Just please be mindful that, you know, these are all just offers. You do what feels right for you. And again, they're all offered in sort of like the tone of playfulness and exploration and curiosity. So put pen to paper this week, give it a little go, see how you feel, and keep hold of those bits. If you're not obliged to share them at all, but if you want to at the end of this process, then please do. And me and Prince will look forward to seeing you